One of the most iconic holiday movies ever made, perfect for both Halloween and Christmas. The Nightmare Before Christmas is unforgettable, not only because of its spooky yet fun setting, but also because of the warm heart of its twisted characters. After all, who wouldn't want to spend some time in Halloweentown, the place where pumpkins scream in the dead of night? But of course, with so many interesting residents in such a dark and creepy world, we thought it would be interesting to dig into these characters' psyches and figure out once and for all who's the most good and who's the most evil, and find out where everyone else ranks in between. I'm Kyle with Wicked Binge, and this is Good to Evil: The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Snake Eyes!
As usual, we're starting on the good side, and who better to start with than the most good boy in Halloweentown? Of course, we're talking about our favorite ghost dog, Zero. He's undoubtedly the pet that everyone would love to have. I mean, instead of taking him for a walk, you'd get to take him for a float. Zero, like the good pup that he is totally loyal to Jack. He's caring and sweet, which is a little surprising given the fact that everyone in Halloweentown is so mischievous. Like living dogs, Zero is adorable and pretty much only capable of good. His first concern is always his owner's happiness, and he's a very supportive and attentive friend.
No, Zero. Down, boy.
He also seems very smart given the fact that he knows exactly what's best for Jack. He's the only character in the movie who doesn't speak, since he only barks, but I'm sure if he could talk, he would only say positive things. At the end of the day, Zero is an adorable little dog / ghost / angel, and he brings joy to Halloweentown without a doubt. That's why he deserves our pick for most good. Next up is the innocent victim of all the shenanigans in the movie, our big, fat, beloved, and jolly Santa Claus. Or should I say Sandy Claus, like the folks of Halloweentown do. He's the ruler and icon of Christmastown.
Ho, 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 ho.
And yes, in real life, he's known to bring happiness and joy all around the world that one special night of the year. He has a kind heart, and he's wonderful to children. He's also fair and thoughtful, even with the misbehaved kids.
Nice, nice, naughty. Nice, nice, nice.
Sure, he gets a bit cranky and serious when he's in Halloweentown.
The next time you get the urge to take over someone else's holiday,
But who wouldn't if you were kidnapped the way he was? He's definitely out of his element here. Poor Santa Claus. Give the man a break. He just wants to give presents and spread happiness at Christmas time. And he does all the work for free. Everybody loves Santa. Next up, we have the famous ragdoll who Hot Topic customers everywhere fell in love with. The heroine of Halloweentown and owner of Jack Skellington's heart, the sweet Sally. She's really clever and a truly supportive friend. She has a shy side, but she's also caring and compassionate. On the other hand, she also has visions and premonitions like some sort of crazy person, but we'll chalk that up as a quirk.
3 times.
you're mine, you know.
Despite the fact that she's Dr. Finkelstein's creation, she's caring and sweet and nothing like her creator. She's very forgiving.
I know how you feel.
We see this when she was locked up by the doctor and seemed not to hold much of a grudge. Sally is also the only one who questions Jack's Christmas plan.
Jack, please listen to me. It's going to be a disaster.
But then again, she does help him anyway. But it's truly a Halloween blessing to have people like her around, don't you think? The next character is the most charming and charismatic of all the citizens in Halloweentown. Any guesses? Of course, I'm talking about our beloved and famous Jack Skellington. A true gentleman in everything that he does, even if it's causing trouble, he's super curious and loves to explore and discover new things. Pretty much exactly like a little kid. Although sometimes he doesn't do a great job with helping things, he certainly has a kind heart.
Well, at least they're excited, but they don't understand.
Normally, he's a calm, introspective guy and does everything to please those around him, but he can also be a bit naive.
They're celebrating!
Like when he didn't realize all the chaos that he was causing on Christmas Eve until it was too late. Like everyone in Halloweentown, he loves to scare others, but he would never go as far as to hurt someone else, humans or monsters alike. Basically, he's a hero who makes mistakes. His logic can be questionable at times, and when he gets angry, boy, you better run for your life because he's gonna let out his frustration with everything he's got. I mean, look what happened to Oogie.
How dare you treat my friends so shamefully!
Jack Skellington, mistakes aside, is someone who's overall good and wants to do his best, and when he messes something up, he does his best to fix the messes that he caused. Skellington is a stand-up guy.
Happy Halloween! Merry Christmas!
A man of honor who only wants to spread joy to the people wherever he goes, whether he's creating terror for Halloweentown or presents on Christmas. Up next, we've got a bunch of goofy yet nice Halloweentown residents. We'll rattle them off quickly and do our best to rank them based on the little info that we have on them. First, the most disgusting yet adorable zombie family you've ever seen, the Corpse family. There's Corpse Mom, or Bertha, who's morbid and obese. There's also Corpse Dad, or Ned, the friendliest of the family and who is quite funny for a zombie. And finally, little Ethan, the Corpse Kid. Despite their gruesome appearance, they're the nicest neighbors anyone could wish for. Now, these next minor characters all fall in the same spot on our list, such as the giant monster, Behemoth. Take a good look at him and picture yourself on a foggy night when suddenly this huge behemoth shows up with that axe in his head. You might pee your pants, and he rarely speaks throughout the movie, which makes him even scarier. But you can't judge a book by its cover, and he probably has some brain damage due to the axe stuck in his head. The other Halloweentown residents we rank together include Mummy Boy, the clown with the tearaway face,
I am the clown with the tearaway face!
Wolfman, and the Devil.
Is it still locked?
All of these residents of Halloweentown fit in perfectly. They all love celebrating their holiday and like to indulge in the usual pranks and scary behavior. There's not really much we can say about them aside from they look like good yet quirky neighbors. Now we have to hit on some of Dr. Finkelstein's creations. One could argue that they're as innocent as the other typical Halloween residents, but as an extension of the Mad Doctor, we place them just a smidge lower. First is Dr. Finkelstein's dark creation and loyal assistant, Igor.
Master, the plan.
He has a creepy, deformed appearance and shares similar tastes with the Doctor. However, he can be funny sometimes. He does everything to please his master, so he's kinda like a dog in many aspects. To be totally honest, given the personality of Dr. Finkelstein, we actually feel really sorry for this guy. Speaking of Dr. Finkelstein creations we feel sorry for, coming up next is his lover, Miss Jewel. He literally made her in his own image, albeit a bit more feminine. Despite having part of his brain,
What a joy to think of all we'll have in common.
she appears to be way less grumpy.
Careful, my precious jewel.
Honestly, I don't even want to know what the Doctor does with her. Next up, we have the scariest type of monster that there is. That's right, a politician. The mayor of Halloweentown. Despite his big position, the mayor doesn't actually show any real authority in the town. He kinda just likes to own the title. In fact, it seems like he defers to Jack on just about everything, presumably because he's lazy or incapable.
Morning, gents.
On the flip side, the mayor is portrayed as harmless and even caring. Not to mention the fact that he got himself in gear quickly
It's time to sound the alarm!
during the emergency in which Jack went missing. With that said, his two-faced behavior, although an obvious satirical jab at politicians, is hard to overlook, essentially making him less trustworthy than many other characters in town. I mean, honestly, would you trust someone who literally had two faces?
I knew this Christmas thing was a bad idea.
Especially when one of those faces came with a personality that was negative, paranoid, and neurotic. In many ways, the mayor is based based on Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, a classic story available on Audible, which just so happens to be our sponsor. Audible's content includes an unmatched selection of audiobooks, original shows, news, comedy, and more. In fact, there's a lot of scary horror books available that might just scare your pants off. If you'd like to help support the channel, use our link in the description for a free audiobook and 30-day free trial. Sign up at audibletrial.com/wickedbinge. We love cartoons and movies, but we also love binging audiobooks on Audible. And remember, signing up for a free trial helps support the creation of our content. Now, since we ranked a bunch of the minor resident characters earlier as the same, we didn't want to cop out and do it again, so we broke up the menacing little trio. First up, we have Beryl, a cruel member of the trick-or-treating trio. He seems to be the dumbest of them all, and that's exactly why he's so impressionable and why we ranked him lower than his trick-or-treating comrades.
They'll be so pleased by our success.
Beryl is a small ghoul and always has a creepy smile on his face. Because he's the least intelligent of the three,
I'm not the dumb one.
He's very influenced to do whatever he's told, but who knows where his loyalties truly lie.
Whatever you say, Jack.
Given the fact that he's done odd jobs not only for Oogie, but also Jack as well. Not to mention the fact that he was the one to accidentally reveal Oogie's plan. Maybe it was on purpose. Or then again, maybe he's just a little dim. Second in the trick-or-treating trio is the only girl in the group, the little witch, Shock. The smartest and most cunning of the three.
And we thought you didn't like us, Jack.
It might be because she's the oldest.
First, we're going to set some bait inside a nasty trap and wait.
But the fact is, she's always the one coming up with mischievous plans.
Then Mr. Oogie Boogie Man.
While the others wear masks with a smile, she doesn't have any expression in hers, which gives the impression that she's more serious and true than the other two in her group. Shock also takes the lead on their sneaky adventures a couple times as well, maybe because she's actually pretty good at making trouble in Halloweentown. She also appears to be authoritative and is constantly disputing the trio leadership with Locke. Which brings us to the last kid in the trick-or-treating crew, the little devil, Locke. He generally appears to be the leader.
Wait, I've got a better plan to catch this big red lobster man.
And he's the sneakiest and most cocky of the group, and possibly in the whole town, with the exception of Oogie, of course. And Locke's outfit is also enough to prove his rebellious personality, right? Not to mention that Locke is genuinely cruel. But like Beryl, unfortunately, he's also a bit dumb himself.
Knock 3 times and when he answers, Santa Claus will be no more.
Overall, they're all just bad kids who like getting in trouble. In my opinion, they just need a good role model. Maybe Santa Claus. Although I suppose there are arguments for why he is redeemable, next up is the most insane character in Halloweentown. I'm talking about the horrifying scientist, Dr. Finkelstein. He is just disgusting to look at, and if you don't think so, what about the habit he has of scratching his brains? Freaking gross. But we can't gauge his morality on his physical appearance, obviously. So let's take a look at him in a more detailed way. He's one of those stereotypical mad doctors
You will be a decided improvement.
who lost his mind and now spends his time doing creepy experiments for his own amusement. There's no doubt that the man's work breaches the ethics of medicine and science.
You've poisoned me for the last time, you wretched girl.
I can't imagine the panic of being held in his lab like Sally was, that's for sure. He's a selfish, overbearing, and cruel character, especially with Sally.
The deadly nightshade you slipped me wore off, Sally.
However, it's shown that he does truly care about her in a kind of overly protective, chain you to a radiator kind of way.
It's a phase, my dear. It'll pass.
Granted, he's based on the character Dr. Frankenstein, and all of the characters in Halloweentown are morbid and sick in a sort of innocent way. But Finkelstein's behavior and action definitely take an emotional toll on Sally, so they aren't defensible in the same way. Maybe it's best to just chalk this guy up as insane. And now, occupying the #1 position as the most evil character in The Nightmare Before Christmas, you already know who I'm talking about, the evil Oogie Boogie.
Well, well, well. What have we here?
The sinister, dangerous, and smooth-singing boogeyman, he's a sadistic and eccentric monster whose cockiness has no end. His horrifying figure also emphasizes his creepiness, and if you think for a moment that he might have something more redeemable on the inside, well, no. He's made up entirely of bugs. Boogie lives for chaos and causing trouble.
Cause I'm Mr. Oogie Boogie, and you ain't going nowhere.
He is essentially a sociopath, and the trouble that he causes is not in a fun, innocent way like the rest of Halloweentown. He's angry.
What? You tried to make a dupe out of me?
And at times sarcastic, showing us that Oogie feels that he's superior to everyone else. Let's also not gloss over the fact that his home is filled with torture devices, plus he loves to gamble. And what does he gamble on, you ask? Other people's lives, of course. That's pretty messed up. Oogie Boogie will torture you to death without a second thought, and based on the tools that he has access to, it seems like he'll torture you in some of the cruelest ways you can imagine. His life revolves around fear. He breathes it and feeds himself with it.
What are you going to do? I'm going to do the best I can.
This guy is so evil that everyone in Halloweentown seemed to banish him off into solitude where he belongs. Oogie Boogie, you are truly the stuff of nightmares.
Now look what you've done!
And without a doubt, the most evil thing in The Nightmare Before Christmas. But what do you think? Do you agree with our ranking? Who do you think is the most good character in Halloweentown? And let us know what cartoon or animated movie we should feature on Good to Evil next. And click on our playlist right here to binge watch our entire Good to Evil video series. But most importantly, stay wicked.